Hey everybody, Bacon here, and I want to talk to you guys about the best and the worst card mechanics that Team 5 has made for Hearthstone. So, Team 5 at Blizzard has worked on a lot of new mechanics for Hearthstone, and they often try to push a new idea for each expansion. So whether it's the holding a dragon synergies in Blackrock Mountain, whether it's mech synergies in GVG, of course, we have the Inspire and Joust from the Grand Tournament that were often seen as a bit of a flop. Or we have everybody's favorite card mechanic, Discover. So pretty much everybody loves Discover, and it's not a big surprise for me to come here and say like, "Hey guys, the best card mechanic in the game is Discover," and if I say that, it doesn't. There's not really much debate there. People really do like Discover, and it's a mechanic that has made its way back into Hearthstone every single set release since it came out in League of Explorers. Now, a lot of the time that people say that they like Discover, they point out one specific thing about the mechanic, and that is it's a form of controlled randomness which adds skill to the game. So in the Grand Tournament, we got a card like Spellslinger. Spellslinger just puts a random spell in each player's hand, and that's like top level randomness. Like you only know it's a spell. It can be literally any of the spells. It doesn't matter what class. You can't choose. You can't like add strategy to get the right spell. It's just like straight 100% random. Whereas Discover, then you're given three choices from a specific section of the game. Whether it be um, the Dark Peddler, you discover one cost cards, either neutral or Warlock, or the Ivory Knight, which has a discover a paladin spell, things like that. So it adds a control to that type of randomness, which does add some skill to the game. Knowing which card to pick in what situation is it's a really great addition to the get a random card mechanic. So that's what most people talk about when they say that Discover is a good mechanic. But I think the real thing that people overlook is that Discover sort of has the zombie chow effect. Now, the zombie chow effect is it's basically what makes a card good against aggressive decks, but not necessarily for them. So, Zombie Chow was the card that came out in Curse of Naxxramas. It's a 1 mana 2/3 with a Death Rattle, restore 5 health to the enemy hero. So it's massively overstated on turn 1, which helps you fight against aggressive decks. But aggressive decks won't use it themselves because the 5 health heal is a really big deal. Now, similarly, aggressive decks generally don't run Discover, with the exception of Dark Peddler and Zoo. But and that's because Discover is almost always, I think always, a low tempo card advantage mechanic. So the reason that most aggressive decks won't be running Discover cards is the fact that they are very low tempo. So you look at the popular Druid card Raven Idol. It's not going to be running aggressive Beast Druid strategies because it's basically you basically just pay 1 extra mana for whatever card you get from it, right? Whereas they could just put a card that already fits their game plan in the deck. Whereas control decks love Discover because it allows them to fill a deck slot with something that they can use situationally. So one of the most difficult things about building a control deck is the fact that it's really hard to both tech your deck to beat aggro while also not auto losing to control. So you have to have a lot of anti-aggro techs in there, but you still want to be able to win the control mirror matchups, right? And Discover is a great way to do that because it's a card advantage mechanic, which is automatically good against control. It allows you to discover either what you need to beat an aggressive deck or what you need to beat a control deck. So that's part of the skill we were talking about earlier. But it also just means that it's not something that aggressive decks are going to run in general. And to be honest, like people love playing control decks. It's just like a fact. Like if you can play a control deck and it's viable in the meta, people just do it because it's quite a bit of fun. You know, it gives you those feelings of meaningful decision making. You know, you feel like you're really you feel like your decisions have a lot bigger impact on the game, and the fact that control has sort of been struggling against aggressive strategies since the beginning of Hearthstone is not really something that people enjoy. So I'd like to say that this card advantage, the fact that Discover is a card advantage mechanic, is really the key to making it one of the most popular mechanics in Hearthstone, and one of the reasons why we see it come back in every single expansion. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and we'll see you for our next video. Bye.